Hi everyone. So we're gonna make a start. I hope it's useful. Questions are welcomed at the end, please, or you can type them in the chat. Okay, thanks.
English Listening Test. Part 1, designed for B2 learners. This test consists of 20 questions which are divided into 3 parts. I will give you a short instruction at the beginning of each part. Before we get started, take a pen and paper so you can take notes while listening. Let's get started. Part 1, listen to the conversation about creating a study group and be ready to complete the sentences.
Hey, you guys, I've been looking for you. I've got an idea, a study group. What do you think? Are you interested?
Yeah, I need a study group in a big way.
Me too.
Do you think we have enough people here for a study group? I mean, there are only 4 of us.
Sorry, 3 of us. Mike can't do the study group. Right, Mike?
Yeah, there's no way I can do a study group. I have an assignment and then I'm too busy. But I'll stay for this first meeting.
Should we try and get another group together with us for this?
No, I don't think so. I think 3 is fine. Ideal size, really.
Me too.
Okay, 3 people then. 4 people for the first meeting. What next?
What about a meeting place? We can't meet here in the library.
It's not too bad, especially if those other people would go away.
But we can't exactly ask them to leave, and people might get annoyed with us talking.
Can I say something here?
Sure, go ahead.
There's a study hall next to the cafeteria. It's almost always empty. Could we meet there?
A study hall? Who knew? Well, it sounds good to me.
Yeah, I've never been there, but
So we ought to decide how long for and how often.
I read somewhere that you should have the meeting at the same time each week, like a seminar. That way we'd take it more seriously.
we may as well make it for this time since we're all here. Is this time okay?
Works for me.
Me too.
Hang on just a minute. I know I'm not going to be in this group, but aren't we supposed to have a seminar at this time every other week?
No.
Thursday.
That's on Thursday.
Sorry, forget I said anything.
Don't worry about it.
So everyone agrees that this time is fine? Every week?
How long should we make it?
An hour?
Could we find a way of making it 2 hours?
2 hours seems a bit like too much. To start with then?
90 minutes? Compromise?
Is that okay with you, Diana?
Fine by me.
Okay, so I guess all we have left to decide is exactly what we'll do when we meet. The final exam is a way off. I guess we could review our notes or practice learning things by heart.
I have a list of do's and don'ts actually that I got online. I could be a moderator, and we could use the ideas as a starting point.
Part 2. Listen to Jessica talking about motivation and be ready to answer the true or false questions. So, we think we know how to motivate people, right? Offer them a reward. Do this and you'll get this. Do this faster and earn more money. Do this better than everyone else, here's a promotion. We offer incentives when we want people to do things. We do it at work, at school, and even at home with our kids. tidy your room and you can watch TV. But when social psychologists test whether incentives work, they get surprising results. Sam Glucksberg, from Princeton University, America, set people a problem to solve and told them he was going to time them to see how long they took. Then he put them in two groups. He offered one group a reward for finishing fast. $5 for anyone finishing in the top 25% and $20 for the person who finished the fastest of all. To the other group, he offered no incentive, but he told them he was going to use their times to calculate an average time. The first group, the ones with the reward, solved the problem faster, you'd think, right? Well, no, they actually took 3.5 minutes longer than the group who just thought they were being timed. The incentive didn't work. In fact, it made them slower. This experiment has been repeated, with the same results, many times. But in business, we still offer bonuses, promotions, and rewards to staff. That's fine if we want them to do something simple, like chop wood. We'll pay you more if you chop the wood faster. An incentive works then. But if we want someone to do something complex, something creative, something where they have to think, rewards don't work. They might even have the opposite result, and make people perform worse. Another study, by Dan Ariely, showed that the bigger the reward, the worse the subjects performed on a complex task. The reward made them focus so hard on the result that they couldn't think creatively anymore. And this all matters because more and more simple jobs will become automated. We'll be left with creative, problem-solving jobs that computers will never do. And we need to find a way to motivate people to do those jobs when we've proved the traditional incentives don't work. So, what does work? Giving your workers freedom to work on the things they want to work on, freedom to choose when, where, and how they work. Want to work from home 3 days a week, get up late, and work into the night instead? Fine. Just do the job well. And evidence shows people who choose the way they work get results. Companies that give employees time during the week to work on things that interest them and are not part of their regular jobs achieve amazing things. Some of the big tech companies are good examples of this, with ping pong tables and areas to relax in. Part 3. Listen to a business interview to practice and improve your listening skills.
Welcome to today's show. We're very happy to have Mary White as our guest today. Mary is the creator and founder of HomeworkX, spelled with an X, we should note, an app that helps teenagers with their homework. Thanks for coming in, Mary.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell us about your app. How does it work?
Well, teenagers and their parents have numerous challenges when it comes to homework these days. In many families, both parents work and don't have much available time to help their kids with their homework. And even if they do have time to help, they may not be able to offer support with the content. What I mean is that they may not know, or at least remember, enough in any given subject to support.
You mean they might not be able to remember complex math, or might have never studied certain subjects, such as biology or economics, themselves?
Exactly. So they might want to support their children with their homework but have neither the time nor the knowledge to do so.
I see. So, the app helps solve this problem?
Yes, and more. The next issue is that tutors can be expensive, and there may be long waiting lists for specialist tutors in the town or region you live in. Our HomeworkX app brings students and tutors together online. Students can search a database of pre-approved tutors and sign up for live online support. They don't need to be in the same town or city.
That sounds really great.
It is. This approach also enables us to offer tutoring services at lower prices because there's no traveling time involved for the tutor to get to the student's home. And tutors who live in remote areas are happy to get access to more students and be able to work from home, even at lower rates.
This all sounds great. So, how did you come up with the idea?
Well, as you might guess, I was one of those parents I described earlier. I really wanted to help my son with his homework, but I was either too busy with work, or I didn't actually know anything about the subjects he was having difficulty with. Also, we live in an area where there aren't many tutors, and the ones that are there are either very expensive or have long waiting lists.
Yes, I can understand your predicament. Well, it sounds like a very useful app that is clearly meeting a need. And its popularity obviously speaks for itself.
Thank you.
So, do you have plans for the future?
We've just secured some funding and hope to expand the range of services we offer using the app.
We wish you the best of luck. Thanks again for coming in. That was Mary White, founder of the tutoring app HomeworkX, with an X, don't forget, which is available for both Apple and Android devices. Join us again next week for another business interview. Have a great week, everyone.
Don't forget to share your score in the comments section. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe because more valuable content is on the way. See you in our upcoming videos.
Sorry, I'm just setting up the next one.
Well, we're done. The listening test takes Unlike reading and writing, the IELTS listening test is exactly the same whether you're doing the academic test or the general training test. In this video, we're going to practice the listening test together. We'll start by looking at an overview of the listening test. I'll talk you through the different sections of the test first so that you're familiar with the format. Next, we'll practice all parts of the listening test whilst also learning a few tips on how to approach answering the questions. There are 40 questions in the listening test. Looking at this table, you can see how many you need to get right to achieve each of the IELTS bands. The test is designed to be challenging, but don't worry because you don't need to get all the questions right to achieve a good band score. Even if you miss 10 of the questions, you can still get a band 7. Okay, let's look at an overview of the test. There are 4 sections. In section 1, you will hear 2 people having a conversation.
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 90 trillion moves in advance. Not fair, not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Section 2 will usually be a single person giving instructions. Section 3 is also a conversation, but with more people and also in an academic context. Finally, in Section 4, you will hear one person giving an academic lecture. The test takes about 30 minutes in total. This includes time to read the questions before you listen to each section, and time to check your answers. The audio recordings and the questions get more difficult as you progress through the test. If you do the computer-delivered IELTS test, you fill in the answers as you go, and there is an extra 2 minutes at the end to check your answers and make any final choices. For the paper-based test, you can write on the question pages during the test, and then you get an additional 10 minutes to copy your answers onto the answer sheet. This is what the answer sheet looks like. Be careful. Make sure that you write the answer next to the correct question number. Okay, let's start our practice with section 1 of the test. This part involves completing a form. You'll typically hear 2 speakers having a conversation. Some of the information is provided, and you need to fill in the gaps with the information that you hear. A really helpful strategy is to try and predict the kind of information, even the answers that you're looking for. If you predict and check, you'll listen more carefully than if you just wait for the right answer. And reading the questions will give you the context and also offer quite a few clues about what the answer is going to be. We'll go through this prediction process together. First, make sure that you understand the instructions. These vary between sections of the test. Here, you're asked to write no more than 2 words and/or a number. You're given time to read the questions. This is really valuable time. As you read, think about what kind of word the answer is likely to be. For example, a family name for question 1, and the name of a sport or other activity. So I might guess baseball for question 4. Beware of distractors, words that are in the recording that might mislead you. For example, the speaker might say, "I'm not interested in the gym," or "I used to go to the gym, but I hated it." Words like not or used to could mean that this is not the answer you're listening for. You need to listen very carefully. Notice how the instructions have changed for questions 6 to 10. Here, you can write only a maximum of 2 words, and there's no number. Think about what kind of word the answer will be. This will help you to be ready for the answer and to focus on the right information. The answer to 6 will be a type of exercise, something like jogging or cycling. Question 7 will probably be 2 words, an adjective describing a body part, maybe broken finger or torn meniscus. Because the answers to question 8 and 9 are preceded by a, we know the answer will be a noun or noun phrase. Remember, the answer can only be 2 words. So question 10, how did you hear about the club, won't be something complex like from a good friend at work. It'll be something short and simple like a friend. So we've read the questions carefully and we've thought about the type of information that we're listening for. We're ready. Let's now listen to the audio and begin to answer the questions 1 to 5. Try and answer them while the audio is playing. Feel free to take extra time if you need to. Let's listen.
Hi, can I help you?
Hello. Yes. Is your club taking on new members at the moment?
Yes, we're always interested in taking on new members. Just give me a moment and I'll get an application form. Right, here we are. So let's start with your name. Okay, and your surname?
It's Simons.
Is that like Simon with an S?
No, it's Symonds. Most people find it rather difficult to spell.
I see it has a silent D. I guess a lot of people miss that. Now, let me see. Can you tell me when you were born?
Yes, certainly. The 10th of December.
Thanks. And the year?
1969.
Okay, good. Now, are you thinking of becoming a full-time member?
Probably not. What kind of memberships do you have?
Well, we also have off-peak membership, which is between 9 and 12 in the morning and 2 and 5 in the afternoon. And then we do have a weekend membership.
So a weekend membership is just Saturday and Sunday?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, well, that's not going to work for me. It looks like I'll have to be full-time. I'm afraid off-peak memberships won't do, as I'm not free at those times, and I just...
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 90 trillion moves in advance. Not fair, not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.
don't want to be restricted to weekends.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. Right, we have several facilities at the club, including a gym, a swimming pool, tennis and squash courts. What activities are you planning on doing?
Well, do you have badminton?
Yes, we do.
And table tennis?
I'm afraid not. Well, not at the moment anyway.
Okay. Well, I'm also very keen on swimming, so I'm glad you have a pool. I'll certainly be doing a lot of that.
Okay, I've got that. Will you be using the gym?
No, I'm not interested in that.
Okay, so just let me work out what the cost will be. Yes, that comes to $1,200 for the year. You can choose to pay annually for the full year or monthly. It's up to you.
Oh, I prefer to pay regularly in small amounts rather than have a large amount to pay in one go, if that's okay.
Sure, that's fine. Right, I've got the most important details for now.
Now, let's try to answer questions 6 to 10. Listen closely.
So I'd just like to ask you a few questions about your lifestyle, if that's okay with you.
Yes, that's fine.
Do you do any regular exercise at the moment?
Yes, I do a bit.
Good. And what do you do?
Well, every few days I go jogging.
Yes, that's good. How long do you go for?
Well, it varies. I guess it depends on how energetic I'm feeling.
Yes, of course. Every little bit helps. Do you have any injuries at the moment?
Well, I did break a bone in my foot playing football a long time ago, but that's all healed up now. But in the last few days, I realised I have a bad ankle. I think I must have injured it last week and it's a bit sore now. But apart from that, I'm fine.
Right. I guess you might need to rest it for a few days to let it recover.
Yes, I will.
So let me just ask you what you want to achieve by joining the club. Do you have any targets or goals?
Well, I suppose my main aim is to build up my fitness level. Is that the kind of thing you mean?
Yes, that's fine. All the activities you're going to be doing should certainly help you with that.
Okay.
And could you tell me what you do for a living?
Well, I was in finance until recently.
Okay, so what are you doing at the moment?
Well, I'm a charity worker.
Oh, that's fine. I'll write that down. Okay, nearly done. One last question. Can I ask you how you heard about the club? Did you see it advertised or did you go to our website, for example?
Well, I've been looking for a health club for a while and I asked my friends for suggestions, but they weren't much help. And then I was listening to the radio and your club was mentioned, so I thought I'll go along and see what it's like.
Great. Well, we look forward to having you as a member.
How did you go? Let's have a look at the correct answers.
Good. Well brushed. Hey, but good teeth. You can stay there. I'll come up. Red Bull gives you wings.
Here they are. The words in brackets are optional. For question 10, you can write radio, on radio, or the radio, but you can't write on the radio. Why not? Because it's more than 2 words. So that's section 1. It's pretty straightforward. You read the questions carefully so you know what to listen for. You hear the answers and you write them down. If you got any questions wrong, it's a good idea. Yes, it's a great idea to go back and listen again and listen carefully for the correct answer. Try to find where you went wrong and think about how you can improve next time. Before we move on to part 2, I want to tell you about E2's online IELTS preparation platform. It's a website built specifically for IELTS students. It has everything an IELTS student could ever need, and I can't recommend it enough. And signing up is super easy. Just go to e2testprep.com and click the Start Free Trial button. Let's move on to section 2. We'll start with multiple choice. You'll need to quickly read the questions, listen carefully, and choose the correct answer. Now, be careful. For each question, you'll likely hear something that sounds like the correct answer, but is actually a distractor. To avoid being misled by distractors, pay attention to things like whether or not the speaker uses a negative word, such as isn't or can't. Or for instance, for question 13, you might hear something like, the event will begin at 7:45, but the guests will start arriving 30 minutes before that. So you really have to be careful that you're not just listening for the words in the answer. You need to listen carefully to understand how everything is connected. If you think you hear the answer, keep listening carefully. Sometimes when students think they hear the answer, they briefly stop paying attention and then they miss the correct answer. On test day, this could cost you a few points. Let's move on to matching questions. Here, you need to match the people to the work. The information will come in the order of the question numbers. In this case, 15, 16, and 17.
Good. Well brushed. Hey, but good teeth. You can stay there. I'll come up. Red Bull gives you wings.
So, you're looking to start an online business, right? You've probably heard the 2 big names thrown around, affiliate marketing and drop shipping. They both sound great, promising that laptop lifestyle, but they are completely different worlds. The real question is, which one is actually right for you? Let's dive in and figure that out.
I mean, isn't this the dream for pretty much everyone? Building a real business without having to take out a huge loan or remortgage your house. And yeah, both of these models look like the perfect answer. You don't need a factory, you don't need a warehouse, but trust me, they lead to very different destinations. So how do you pick the right one?
First, let's just talk about the sheer scale we're dealing with. Affiliate marketing isn't some little side hustle anymore. It's a massive global industry. We're talking projections that show it soaring past $20 billion by 2030. That is an insane amount of money on the table.
But then you look at drop shipping, and the numbers are just on another level.
We're talking about a market that's heading towards $500 billion. So the point here isn't that one is better. The point is that the opportunity in both is absolutely huge. The only bad move is picking the one that doesn't actually fit your personality and your goals.
Okay, so to make that choice, you really have to understand the nitty-gritty of how each of these actually works. Let's kick things off with affiliate marketing.
At its heart, affiliate marketing is super simple. You get paid a commission for promoting someone else's stuff. You find a product you like, you share it with your audience, and you get a cut of the profit every time you send a sale their way. You're basically a performance-based marketer working on your own terms.
And the process itself? Incredibly easy. You join a program, say on Amazon or another network. They give you a special tracking link, and you just share that link. Someone clicks it, they buy something, and boom, you get paid. The key thing to get here is that you never, ever have to handle the product or deal with an angry customer. Your one and only job is to market. That's it.
Now, drop shipping, that's a whole different animal. This is an e-commerce model where you're running your own online store. You're the boss. You list products for sale, but the trick is you don't actually hold any inventory yourself. When a customer buys from you, a third-party supplier ships it directly to them.
So here's how it plays out. A customer buys
Sorry, peeps.
This is a B2 listening test. Part 1. You'll hear people talking in 4 different situations. For questions 1 to 4, choose the best answer A, B, or C. Question 1. You hear a fitness instructor talking to a group at a community center. What is the instructor's main purpose?
Many of you joined our Fit for Life program a couple of weeks ago, and I'm really pleased to see how motivated you've been. Some of you have already started tracking your daily activity with the pedometers we gave out, which is great progress. But if you're one of those who hasn't quite got into the habit yet, don't worry, it's never too late to start. Remember, you don't have to sign up for the gym or buy expensive equipment. Try simple changes, like walking to the shops instead of driving, or taking the stairs instead of the lift. The aim isn't to compete with each other. There's no prize for the most active person. It's about improving your health bit by bit. I'd love to see everyone making small changes every day, because those are what really add up over time.
Question 2. You hear 2 friends talking about attending cooking classes. What do the friends agree about?
So how are you finding these cooking lessons? We've been coming for a few weeks now.
I'm really enjoying them, actually. I've always wanted to cook proper meals instead of just throwing things together. So I'm glad I finally decided to join.
Yeah, same here. I used to think cooking was too time-consuming, but now I realize it can be fun, though some of the recipes take forever to get right.
That's true. And it can be tiring too, especially when you're chopping vegetables for ages or cleaning up afterwards.
For me, the hardest part is getting the timing right. Everything's supposed to be ready at the same time, but I always end up burning something.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I'm hopeless at that as well. But I'm sure once we've practiced a bit more, we'll get better.
Yeah, I think so. And when we do, it'll be even more enjoyable. Imagine being able to cook a proper 3-course dinner without panicking.
That would be amazing. I'm already planning to try some of these dishes at home next weekend. Hopefully, they'll turn out okay. Question 3. You hear a swimming coach talking to her team. What is the coach's main aim?
All right, everyone, gather round for a minute. Quite a few of you have been asking how best to prepare for the regional competition that's coming up next month. To give you the best chance possible, we'll be running extra training sessions every Sunday morning from 9 until 11. They're completely optional, but I'd love to see as many of you there as possible. And just to clear something up, some of you seem to think I used to be a competitive swimmer at national level. That's actually not true. I've always been a coach rather than a competitor myself, so my focus has always been on helping others improve. I know the qualifying times for regionals can look a bit daunting, but with the fantastic facilities we have here and the effort you've all been putting in lately, I really believe at least one of you can do it. It's been quite a while since anyone from our club reached the finals, and I'd love this to be the year. We finally changed that. So let's give it everything we've got.
Question 4. You hear a man talking to a friend about a seminar on buying a first home. What is the man's reaction to the seminar?
So, how was that seminar you went to at the weekend?
Honestly, it was much better than I expected. I've been thinking seriously about buying my first house, but the whole process seemed overwhelming. So I figured it'd be good to get proper advice. They went over a lot of things I already knew, like how you need to save for a deposit and make sure your credit score is decent. But there were also quite a few things that surprised me. For example, I hadn't realized just how many extra fees there are, legal costs, surveys, inspections, even charges just for applying for a mortgage. When they added everything up, it came to far more than I'd budgeted for. I'm not about to rush out and buy somewhere tomorrow, but I've decided I need a better plan. I'll start setting aside a bit more each month so that by next year, I'll be in a stronger position to look seriously. It feels less scary now that I actually understand what's involved.
Part 2. For questions 5 to 10, complete the sentences with a word or short phrase.
Oh, a lamp.
Stop it, I'm ticklish.
Questions 5 through 10. You will hear a radio news item about a famous chef.
Liam Robertson will soon receive an honorary degree of Doctor of Culinary Arts for his outstanding achievements in modern cuisine and his contribution to sustainable food practices worldwide. Born in Edinburgh in 1970, Liam studied hospitality at Glasgow College before training as a chef in Paris, where he worked in several Michelin-starred restaurants. In 1998, he opened his first restaurant, Seasons, which quickly gained a reputation for using only locally sourced ingredients. His innovative approach to cooking earned him a prestigious international award in 2002, making him one of the youngest chefs ever to receive such recognition. In 2007, Liam launched the Fresh Futures Project, a charity providing culinary training to disadvantaged young people across the UK. 5 years later, He became a household name when his television series Cooking for Change aired, combining recipes with lessons on reducing food waste. By 2020, Robertson had published 10 best-selling cookbooks, many of which have been translated into over 20 languages. Next month, he will be awarded his honorary degree at a ceremony at Edinburgh University, where he will also give a lecture on the future of sustainable cuisine.
Part 3. You will hear 5 different people talking about jobs they have recently started. For questions 11 to 15, choose from the list A to H what each person feels about their new job. Use the letters only once. There are 3 extra letters you do not need to use. Speaker 1.
When I decided to leave finance and try something completely different, I was terrified that I'd made a huge mistake. But moving into marketing 3 months ago has turned out to be one of the best choices I've ever made. The atmosphere in the office is completely different from what I was used to. People genuinely help each other instead of competing all the time. My manager always gives me constructive feedback and encourages me to try new ideas. Even though I still have a lot to learn, I already feel valued here, which is such a nice change.
Speaker 2.
I knew teaching would be busy, but I didn't realize just how demanding it would be. This term has been a whirlwind between planning lessons, preparing resources, grading assignments, attending meetings, and organizing school events. I barely have a moment to breathe. The children are great, and I love seeing them learn new things, but the workload is far heavier than I expected. Most evenings, I stay late just to catch up, and weekends often disappear into marking. I'm hoping that with time, I'll become faster and more efficient, but right now, it feels overwhelming.
Speaker 3.
Starting my new job in software development was a big leap for me. On my first day, I was given far more responsibility than I imagined, which felt intimidating at first. But last month, I led my very first project, and we successfully launched a new app that's now being used by real customers. Seeing my work out there in the world was an amazing feeling, like all the extra hours of study and late nights learning to code had finally paid off. I'm proud of myself, and it makes me excited for what I can achieve next.
Speaker 4.
For years, I kept saying I wanted to leave my corporate job and do something more meaningful, but I was always scared of losing the stability. Finally, a few months ago, I took a role with a small charity. It's completely different. The salary is lower, and the hours can be unpredictable, but the sense of purpose is incredible. Every day I feel like my work matters, whether it's organizing community events or helping with fundraising. I only wish I'd been brave enough to make the change sooner, because I finally enjoy going to work again.
Speaker 5.
I recently started working as a chef in a high-end restaurant. At first, I was thrilled to have landed such a prestigious job, but the reality has been really tough. The hours are extremely long, the kitchen is constantly under pressure, and there's a culture of shouting and stress that I wasn't prepared for. By the end of each shift, I'm completely exhausted, and yet the pay barely reflects the effort I put in. If I'd known just how demanding it would be, I'm not sure I'd have taken the job in the first place.
In a world overwhelmed by noise, a signal takes shape. Measured, resilient.
Part 4. You will hear an interview with a travel photographer called Michael Turner, who is talking about his experiences of wildlife photography around the world. For questions 16 to 22, complete the notes. For questions 23 to 25, choose the best answer A, B, or C.
Welcome, Michael, and thanks for being with us today. You visited many countries as a wildlife photographer. How did this career start for you?
I've loved animals since I was a child, but I never imagined I'd make a living from taking pictures of them. At university, I actually studied environmental science, and I took photos just as a hobby. Some friends encouraged me to share my pictures online, and gradually, people became interested in buying them. That's really how my career began.
What is the best part of your job?
Many people think the highlight is simply traveling or owning expensive equipment. For me, it's about being outdoors, quietly watching animals behave naturally. Sometimes I'll wait for hours, even days, for something unexpected to happen. Capturing that special moment is what makes it all worthwhile.
Have you ever had a dangerous experience while photographing wildlife?
Definitely. Once in Tanzania, the first realized too late that I'd got too close to a herd of buffalo. They're incredibly fast, so I had to retreat very carefully. Another time, when I was working in Alaska, my gloves got wet and I nearly developed frostbite because the temperature dropped so suddenly.
People often imagine your job is glamorous. Is it really?
Not at all. The beautiful pictures hide the reality. Long nights, heavy bags, insect bites, and often going home with nothing to show for it. But those few magical moments make all the hard work worthwhile.
What advice would you give to beginners?
Don't spend huge amounts of money at the start. Learn to observe animals near where you live, in parks, rivers, even your garden. If you understand an animal's behavior, you'll take better photos than with expensive gear. And of course, safety always comes first, for you and the animal.
Finally, Michael, you're creating a new photography book. How's that going?
Slowly. I've collected hundreds of images over the past year, but I keep changing my mind about which ones to include. Friends often ask why it isn't finished yet, but I want the final book to tell a meaningful story. I'm still deciding whether to share my personal experiences or just focus on the animals.
Oh, a lamp.
Stop it, I'm ticklish.
Oh, a lamp.
Hi everyone. Thanks for attending. It's useful. Next week, Diana is taking over to try and freshen it up a little bit. I think she's offering more interactive sessions, so please do try to attend if you can. If there's any questions, put your hands up and put yourselves off mute. If not, I wish you a lovely evening and a lovely Friday and a great weekend. Okay. Right. Thanks all. Good luck with your and getting B2 ready, please. There is much demand. Thanks.